Hey everybody, I'm Kate with Crate Insider, and I'm here today with my good friend Ben Baker from Longacre. And Ben, you've got something new to show me today.
Yeah, so we've been working on getting our mechanical gauges back in line. We've been at them for quite some time, and we decided to go through a whole new design process with this new gauge. So it's a good, reliable mechanical gauge. One of the things we did was trying to clean that up to where we didn't have all the external warning lights and all the extra wiring that goes along with that, and some issues that came along with having that secondary light bulb and things like that. So this new gauge is it's an LED backlit gauge, and then once you get to whatever your sender is for your warning, then this gauge will actually change colors to what the the generic warning light color is. So like an oil pressure goes to red, if it's a water temperature goes to orange, if it's fuel pressure that used to be a white warning light goes to blue. So things like that, just to clean it up, make the dash panels a lot more simple, yet still having a good economic gauge that's a mechanical gauge that's reliable.
Now, are you finding that the mechanical gauges have better accuracy than, let's say, a digital gauge?
Not necessarily. The biggest thing there compared to the old digital gauges or the old electric gauges compared to the mechanical one, the old gauges, they had most people's weren't waterproof on the electric gauges or the digital gauge. So there was a lot of issues with water. We were racing dirt, people washed their cars, so they had issues there. We came out with a complete line of waterproof electric and digital gauges a couple years ago, and since we've done that, that solved all the issues with those style of gauges. But the biggest thing with the mechanical gauge is it is a more economical gauge. So some sanctioning bodies, for instance, they won't let you run a digital gauge, they won't let you run an electric gauge. They specify you have to run a mechanical gauge because it is a lot more economical piece.
And another question I would have is, are these gauges all sold individually, or do you have panels of them like we had with the digital gauge?
Yeah, so we sell them individually, and we do have them with the panels. So here's one of our 4-gauge panels here. The panels, they'll come with all your wiring, all your sensors, everything you need just to plug and play. The individual gauges, they come just like this, so you won't get any wiring, you won't get any of the lines or the sensors or things like that, so you got to get that separate. But these are very, very simple to install. On the back of the gauge, it tells you where to put your sender wire, it tells you where your hot wire goes, it tells you where your ground goes, so it's really, really simple to install.
Well, I always appreciate that. I get a little frustrated when racing parts don't come with directions, and when you got a lot of stuff that looks exactly the same, that makes it really simple. So once again, I'm really looking forward to having these in the Crate Insider store. And is it a really long list of all of the things that it sensors, or is it limited? I mean, do we have like water pressure, water temperature, oil? What are those selections?
What you have is you have a pressure sensor. So if the pressure gets below, I think it's 6 pounds, it trips the sender and the light comes on. So that's it for pressure, whether oil pressure, fuel pressure, or water pressure, it's all the same sensor. And then temperature is the same way. Once it gets to that set temperature of 280 or 260 or whatever it is, it trips the sender, turns the gauge to the different color. So it's 2 sending units that does the pressure and your temperature.
That is so convenient. Well, thank you so much, Ben, and always coming out with something new, and thank you for taking your time with me today.
You're welcome. Thank you.